is that you're going to discover 5 simple but very powerful insights. And these insights have the power to redefine and strengthen your relationship. Now, just out of curiosity, and I'd love to hear again from you in the chat or in the Q&A, which of these can you relate to? Have you ever felt, for instance, that the stresses of everyday life can make it hard to enjoy that quality time that you want to spend with your partner? If that's relatable, just let me know. It feels like it to me sometimes. What about this? Who out here is seeking to find unique ways to reconnect and rekindle in their relationship? Not even meaning that you're in a bad place, but just ways to really improve and enhance. Yeah, give me a raise of the hand. I know you can raise your hand on here. Give me some feedback in that Q&A. And how many people here really they get excited over the idea of new experiences with your partner, of bonding in new ways? That excites me, man. I would love that. My wife and I have been together 13 years, and we're always looking for new ways to do something exciting and bond. And how many people here are wishing for a deeper connection with your partner mentally, physically, and emotionally? Just give me a show of digital hands. I'm hearing the chat's disabled. That's all cool. But give me some hands and give me some feedback in that Q&A. Give me a shout. Yeah, that's what we're here for. Thank you. Love to see it. So a little bit about me. That's me, Daniel DiPiazza, and I'm the co-founder here at Strength of Seduction, and I'm very passionate about the intersection of health and relationship. Ever since I can remember, those are 2 of my favorite topics: relationships, communication, health, and how it all comes together. My wife and I have been together for 13 years. We have 2 dogs, and my personal mission is to keep our community in shape and in love. And that has been what Strength of Seduction has been about. It's been a really cool journey, and a lot of you guys have gotten to experience that with us. We came up with this idea for SOS in 2012, and we produced the first DVD in 2015, but we didn't officially launch the company until 2020. And we went from 0 to 40,000 customers in 3 years. We went from unknown to over 50 million views on our on our products in that time, and it basically started a trend for couples integrating fitness and intimacy. Those are some of our original DVDs I had just had in the room just to share them. And it's just cool to see the journey. So you guys are part of that process, and we really appreciate it. And I want to just give you an overview of how we got here, and specifically how I discovered these 5 shifts. That's what this training is about tonight, the 5 shifts to getting that healthy, wealthy marriage and what that really looks like for you. So I want to give you a little bit of background on how I discovered it. Everything in this presentation is based on data findings from over 17,000 Black couples in their 30s to 50s as part of the SOS Black Love Study in 2023. Some people here, even watching this, might have participated in that study. And our survey respondents answered questions about life, relationship, and personal goals, and they gave us some tremendous insight. Just some insight on the study. I mean, so many of our respondents from the over 17,000 that we surveyed had been married for over 20 years, as you can see. And we got so many in-depth answers that we were able to really start to understand what it is that makes relationships work, specifically in our community. And we learned so much from this process. And the reason why these are called shifts, when I say there are 5 shifts to make, is that they are simple things that you can do, simple ways of changing your perception or or the way you see the world that can instantly result in a tremendous improvement in your life and your relationship. They're tiny shifts that make a tremendous difference. The way we see it here at SOS is that your life is a result of your perspective, so it's the way you see the world, and your choices, the decisions that you make because of how you see the world. And what that really means is, when you combine a fresh perspective on things with new choices, you'll get a totally different life. I mean, just give me some feedback in the chat right now or in the Q&A. Does this make sense to you? Just put yes if that makes sense to you. In fact, raise your hand if that makes sense to you, that if you have a different perspective and you make new choices and new decisions because of that, you'll have a different life. We can all think about times when we could have made a different decision and had a different point of view, and we would have been in a totally different situation. I mean, that's the story of hindsight and wisdom, isn't it? So that's how we're basing this. And once you make these 5 shifts that I'm going to share with you tonight, you're going to feel an immediate surge of connection and understanding in your relationship. You're going to experience daily moments of joy and rediscovery in that relationship. You're going to grow closer in ways you never imagined possible. Friends and family are going to notice that renewed spark between you two, and you're going to achieve some goals that seemed out of reach just because you made these shifts. So if that's something that's interesting to you, and if you want that, just give me a shout in the Q&A or raise your hand. And I want to see how many people are really interested in having these types of shifts in the relationship. Good, because I'm excited to present it to you, okay? So I'm going to share with you the shifts. And just so you know, on all the slides for our shifts, I just took some pictures from members of the SOS community who've purchased our programs, who've gone through our trainings. I just think it's a cool way of just showcasing the families that we have on here. I'm not going to, the team put it together. I'm not going to read all the testimonials. I think it's cool to have them, but this is Felicia and her husband. And shift number 1 is commit to open communication. So what does that mean specifically? Well, it just means that the foundation of a thriving relationship is honest and transparent dialogue, okay? And these shifts are not going to be things that sound like something you've never heard before. It seems obvious, right? Oh, well, the foundation of a thriving relationship is honest and transparent dialogue. But really think about how your life and relationship would change if you focused and considered your dialogue more carefully, the dialogue you have with your partner. And so I wanted to give you some actionable ideas of how to utilize these shifts and these insights. For instance, with this shift, with that honest and transparent dialogue, one action step you can take is to schedule a weekly heart-to-heart talk where both partners, both you and your partner, can openly discuss your feelings, your concerns, your aspirations without any distractions. And this is how you ensure that there are a safe place to release some of the tension of the week, to voice concerns and opinions, and to bring up things that might happen to affect the relationship or the family or you as individuals before it becomes a problem. And one of the things you can do when you have these conversations, these heart-to-hearts, is just listen without having to immediately respond, and be listened to without being interrupted by a response, and just have a complete and thorough opportunity to listen and to speak without the interruption. Because I think most of the time what happens when we're having these heart-to-hearts is that they become a situation of trying to negotiate the conversation, trying to win the conversation. Let's be honest. And many of us haven't had the luxury of having such, the full space and opportunity to just say what we mean and then also hear completely without interrupting. So does that make sense? And does that sound like something that would be a big shift if you could have that in your relationship? Just give me some hands, give me something in the Q&A. I mean, wouldn't that be such a nice release of pressure? That's huge, man. It's huge. We could talk about them more later. I have more stories about that, but yeah, it's such a huge piece of improving that relationship. It's a huge shift. Now, shift number 2, and make sure you're writing these down, okay? Make sure you're writing these down because these are simple, but you're going to want to remember to do them. Shift number 2 is to prioritize intimacy and connection. And that's Celeste and her husband and their beautiful family. We love it. We love to see it. So what do I mean by that? Well, simply rekindling that spark by dedicating quality time and nurturing physical closeness. Now, let's break this down for a minute. Let's break it down. The first is dedicating quality time. Dedicating quality time means setting aside that time in advance. Just like everything else that we deem as important in our lives, we schedule it. I mean, we're all professionals here, right? We either work at a job where we have to be there on time, or we have a business that we have to, do tasks, and we schedule the important things in our life. But how many of us forget to schedule the intimate parts of our life, the date nights, the just spending time together nights, the sexy time? How many of us forget to schedule that? Just give me some hands. I want to see the hands raised. I want to hear in the Q&A box because I know you're guilty. I know you're guilty. And I know how many of us have been together over 10 years now. Sometimes some of us over 20. I know. I've read the surveys, and we're not prioritizing the intimate parts of our life. And hey, you know what? I'm going to give you a pass. You know why? Because you have good excuses, and they're real excuses. But at the end of the day, they're still excuses. There's plenty of good reasons to not schedule things because you get so busy with everything else in your life that you want to just, allow that part of your life to just happen. But ultimately, if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. And with our relationship, it's no different. But you can do simple things to make this shift a more permanent part of your life. And one thing you can do is just dedicate one day a week for a date night. And it can be as simple as cooking a meal together at home, or it can be as elaborate as a surprise outing. The aim is to bond and to create memories, because let me tell you, you don't want to be in a relationship that only looks at memories of the past without expecting to have many, many more good memories in the future. I mean, can you guys relate to that? How many of us here want to be excited about a relationship going into the future? Excited about new things we're going to do together, new experiences we're going to have, new places we're going to travel, new feelings we're going to have, you know? We all want that. And part of that comes down to intentionally planning the intimate parts of our life. It's a must. If we say that our life is important to us, if we say that our relationship is important to us, we have to plan for it. Okay, so that's that shift. Now, shift number 3. And guys, give me a show of hands and give me some feedback in the Q&A if this is hitting for you, if you can relate to this, if you feel like this would be useful to you so far. Now, shift number 3 I want to share with you is the power of creating shared dreams. You can see Jill and her husband, they said they love the work, and I'm glad. The power of creating shared dreams. Now, the truth is, you can write this one down, you can take this one in the bank. When you create mutual goals, you achieve shared dreams. Let me say it again for you in case you didn't hear it. That one's a powerful one. You got to catch it. When you create mutual goals, you achieve shared dreams. Give me a show of hands if you understand how deep that really goes. How many of us have forgotten that we're in this together with our partner? I know we've all played the you versus your partner game before, but sometimes we forget that it's really us versus the problem. Sometimes we forget that if we can learn to support each other, we can both achieve so much more. Yes, we are running individual races, but our fates are also combined. And when you create mutual goals, you can achieve a shared dream. You become more powerful together. This seems obvious. It's obvious, right? I mean, that's really the whole essence of marriage. More powerful together. But sometimes we can look up from a long and happy relationship and say, wow, we weren't really looking out for each other's dreams. So what does that look like in a practical sense? Well, one thing you can do is just create a shared vision board. And I'm serious about this. I just did this with my wife a few months ago. And you can include your individual and your joint dreams. I mean, you can literally do it however you want to. You can, if you want to have fun with it, you can cut out stuff from magazines, or you can just print stuff off the computer. And you just put it on a bulletin board. And it's just there to represent the things that are important to you, the things that you're moving towards, the things that are exciting, the things you want to become, the next phase of your life, your evolution. It can be your individual dreams, your joint dreams, and you guys can just review that, update it, make sure that you're actually keeping an active eye on it. And this ensures that both of you guys are aligned in your goals and you're working towards them as a team. Now just give me some hands and give me something in the Q&A if that seems like something that would be beneficial to you in your relationship. It's a simple thing. It's a simple thing. I told you it's a shift. It ain't the world's most secret formula. It's a shift in the way you're navigating your life and your relationship. It would have a tremendous impact, I'll tell you that. Now let's talk about shift number 4. This is all about synchronizing your financial goals. What's up to Christina and her husband? Nice to see you guys. Now, this is a big shift because, as we know, I mean, you can just look at the rate of divorce and then look at the reasons for divorce. We all know that finances are one of the main reasons why people split up, why they can't get along, and why they end up divorcing. And finances are a very, touchy thing for a lot of people to deal with. And, it comes from how you were raised and your experiences you've had with it and your hopes, dreams, fears, and aspirations. A lot of things are tied up in money, but a shift that you can make in your relationship is to saying, rather than running from the money conversation or not embracing it, bonding over shared financial dreams. And having those money talks bring you closer as a couple. How many people here would find that that perspective on family finances would be a refreshing shift? A refreshing shift. I mean, come on, we probably all grew up in a family where money was a touchy subject, but how beneficial would it be if not only were husband and wife both on the absolute same page, but working towards these shared financial goals together and having that rub off and be passed down on the kids? How healthy would that be? How refreshing would that be for that to be the legacy that our family has left? You know, not to get off topic, but I picked up some silver from my great grandmother, who's my dad's dad, who, you know, she has passed away many years ago now, but I was able to get some of her old antique silver, and I just thought to myself, you know, there are so many families, not like mine necessarily, but so many families who have something to pass down to their kids, and it makes such a big difference when the generation before can pass something down to the next generation. It creates so much stability through the family line. And that stability has to start somewhere. And that has to start with you right now. And that means that if you're in a partnership, you have to be bonding over these shared financial dreams. And those money talks have to bring you closer rather than pull you apart, because that's how you create that solid financial base. And that's how you build for the next generation. Not to get too meta or too far out, but does that make sense? If it makes sense, just show me some hands or give me some feedback in the Q&A if that makes sense to you. And one action step you can take for this is that you can hold a monthly financial meeting to review expenses, to discuss the upcoming financial needs that you guys both have, to ensure that both of you guys are aligned with your saving and your spending habits. And look, this just stops it from getting hot. You know, if you are reviewing what's going on in the bank account on a weekly basis, at least, then you at least know what's going on. And that allows you to navigate challenges before they become real problems. And it definitely can be uncomfortable at first. It could be a change in your dynamic. That's why it's called a shift. It is doing something slightly different. But think about it like this. Okay, we've all known that in the history of marriages, a lot of times marriages have been seen as a business arrangement. And in any business, you would need to be checking on the health of that business on a regular basis and know what's going in and what's going out, because the whole point of a business is to make it profitable. Well, as marriage is a form of business in some ways, we want to make sure that it's profitable for both of you. And there are ways to make it emotionally profitable, but you also want to make it financially profitable when you can. And if you want to do that, then you have to keep a careful eye on it. As they say, what gets measured gets managed. Does it make sense, guys? I mean, give me some show of hands, give me a hand, or give me some comments in the Q&A if it makes sense. And give me some feedback with a Q&A or show of hands if you've been waiting for a long time to get on the same page financially with your spouse. I mean, that's something I think we can all relate to. Now, I'm going to talk to you about shift number 5. And this is really about investing in relationship refreshment and education. It goes so overlooked. And that's why it's a shift. And there's Nia and her husband looking great. Says, listen, if you're hesitating, don't. I love hearing the SOS reviews. So when it comes to this shift, guys, it's all about thinking of your marriage as a living organism. This is not just some sort of static agreement, a contract that stays the same forever. It's a plant. It's a plant. You have to water it. So you don't just repair your marriage when things break. You have to fortify and nourish your partnership intentionally. Intentionally. Does that make sense? Give me a show of hands if that makes sense to you. When you're waiting to fix something and you're waiting for it to break before you fix it, it's much harder to fix it because so much wear and tear has already happened that now it takes much more effort to bring it back to life. But if you're constantly pouring into this living organism that is your marriage, it's actually harder to ever get to the position where it is broken. And listen, we've all gone through shit, okay? So it's not that you can't go through shit and come back stronger than ever. It's just a general rule of wellness in a marriage. If you're working on it before there's a problem, there will be fewer problems. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with your experience, guys? Give me a show of hands if that resonates with your experience, or give me some feedback in the Q&A. That's my experience. And I'm checking in at year 13 here. So I'm not the longest one by any means, but I'm not, I have my experience too. And so an action step you can take for this is at least once a year, guys, at least once a year, invest in a relationship workshop or a training or retreat to get a fresh perspective and tools to enhance your partnership, okay? And this will really help you to have individual growth and marriage growth, and those two things are connected. Give me a show of hands or some feedback in the Q&A if you've ever invested in relationship coaching or support or workshops or training, and tell me, was it useful to you? Was it beneficial to you? You know, these are things that all of us can benefit from, but so many of us kind of neglect. And that's why it's a shift, because you can make a small change that has a tremendous impact on your life. So here's some questions for you, okay? This is a lot of, we've talked about a lot. I want to try to synthesize it to you and bring it home for you. And so I want to get some feedback from you. You can leave some questions or some comments in the Q&A, or just some show of hands here. But would it change your life and relationship if both you and your partner were committed to open communication? Would that change your life and your relationship? That's shift number 1, by the way. Would it change your life and your relationship if you prioritized intimacy and connection in your marriage? Which, by the way, is shift number 2. Would that change your life and relationship? And that'd be great. I would love that. Would it change your life and your relationship if you created shared dreams with each other? That's shift number 3. Let me know. Show me some hands. Would it change your life and your relationship if you and your partner were in sync financially? Because that's shift number 4. Yeah? Oh, I like to see it. A lot of good hands being raised. I love to see it. And would it change your life and relationship if you intentionally invested in relationship refreshment and education, which is what we talked about in shift number 5? Yeah, I love to see it. By the way, fantastic participation, guys. Really love to see all the activity. It's great to know that we're in a group like that. And if this is the case, well, actually, let me share with you here. I'm going to open up a new window here. So I absolutely agree with you. And if you think that implementing those shifts would have an enormous positive impact on your life and on your relationship, you're absolutely right. And that is what our research showed when we looked at over 17,000 data points and 800,000 emails sent in the 2023 Black Love Study. So basically what happened is the Strength of Seduction team decided to create a brand new program. And this is unlike anything that exists. And this is specifically for Black couples who want to improve communication in conflict, who want to deepen their intimacy while getting mentally, physically, and financially strong. And so to celebrate the launch of this program, we are opening up a small number of free coaching sessions. And on this session, we're going to help you to identify your biggest goals for yourself and your relationship. And we're going to share with you how you might have the opportunity to join a small group of couples dedicated to personal growth and transformation so that you can achieve your goals even faster. So if that's something you'd like to see, then I'd like to give you the opportunity to be considered for one of these spots. And you can go to www.strengthofseduction.com/apply. And, guys, if you got a lot of value out of what I shared tonight and you'd like some support implementing everything that was taught and much more, you can sign up for a free coaching spot. And I definitely encourage you to hurry because if you're serious about learning more, not everyone who applies is going to be able to get a spot. And we do have a pretty limited capacity right now. We only have one coach that I'm working with to do these free coaching spots. So it really will fill up fast. And I wanted to give you a chance to ask Q&A on here tonight. And what I have is I have a few of the most common questions that we get. I'm going to answer some of those. Then I'll open up the floor to give you any opportunity to ask any questions about the 5 shifts we talked about tonight, about anything specific that's going on with you, or about the coaching session. But in the meantime, go to strengthofseduction.com/apply. I'll even put this up in the chat for you. I think I can do it from here. So I'll put www.strengthofseduction.com/apply. Okay, that link should work for you. But I wanted to answer some of the biggest Q&As that we get. And as you have questions, feel free to ask them. So first of all, a lot of people are just talking about when it comes to the coaching sessions, who is it for specifically? And I had to think about this and really start to think, okay, well, who would this benefit most? And first and foremost, if you've been married for 10 years or more, and you guys are still in love and looking to improve and enhance that love, this is definitely a great opportunity for you. If you both have health goals that you want to achieve, but you could use some support and some accountability from professionals to get there, this is definitely a fantastic opportunity for you to level up and do it together. If you are ready to take your financial future into your own hands by learning more about saving and investing and perhaps even starting your own business, this definitely could be a good fit for you. And if you'd like a free coaching call, we'd love to have you. You can go to strengthofseduction.com/apply to apply for one of our calls. There's a limited number of calls. If you're excited about the possibilities of growth in your relationship and you're open to learning new strategies of resolving conflict in your relationship, this could absolutely be a really good fit for you. And if you want to connect with a small group of supportive couples working together to get better, if any of that sounds like you, I highly encourage you to apply for a coaching session. This is specifically for people who are on the journey and the one that I'm describing. If you can hear something that I'm saying that's really hitting for you, then this is the call. You know, we're specifically trying to talk to someone who's looking to take them and their relationship to the next level and to really improve the quality of their life in so many different ways beyond just the physical. And just a little bit more about why we're doing this. And you can check out the application. There's a quick application which I'll share, which I'll show on the screen in a couple of minutes here, but you can go to strengthofseduction.com/apply to look at it. But just some notes on why we're doing this. You know, Strength of Seduction started as a company that focused primarily on couples workouts, as you guys know. And many people who are watching this tonight have purchased one of those. And we've been very successful creating those types of programs. But we soon realized that the true vision for this company and for this community was way bigger than that. And that's why we've really started to branch out with the type of content we're creating. For instance, you might have noticed that recently we've been creating a lot of content and really have a growing catalog of educational blog articles and podcasts and videos on how to address life and relationship challenges. And we have material now on how to get you mentally, physically, and financially healthier. I know this is kind of a blatant promo for our podcast. Yes, we have a podcast. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. So thank you for listening. But you know, we feel this is honestly kind of revolutionary in the Black community because it doesn't really exist anywhere else. And once we made the decision to expand our focus a little beyond just the workout material, the results spoke for themselves. And people started writing in to tell us how much they appreciated us taking the time to talk about new topics. And as we started to implement some of our own research and we brought in expert guidance and to really help the members of our SOS community, everyone started leveling up. And so I'll even share with you now just a few of the case studies that we're seeing from implementing some of our new approach to coaching. And we just warmed this thing up. This is Greg and Felicia, and they are having big wins together because they're both losing weight. They're getting in better shape. They're both really understanding the value of improved self-care, and they're deepening their connection. They said, I feel the progress. I've already lost 5 pounds in the first 2 to 3 weeks. Initially, my reason for doing the program was because my wife asked me to. Now that I'm engaged in the program, I really see the self-benefit, and I'm doing it for us, but I'm also doing it for me. And that's exactly what we talked about. You know, at the beginning of the program, we talked about the value of shared goals and shared goals creating shared dreams. And that's exactly what he's doing. I mean, I love it. strengthofseduction.com/apply is where you can apply to get a free coaching session to learn more about how you can implement these changes in your life. We heard from Norman and Cottrell, and they had some big wins as well, both losing weight, clothes fitting better, deepening their intimacy. Cottrell said, we can tell by how our clothes fit that this program is working. I've already lost 12 pounds in 3 weeks, and we love to see it. I love to see it. And then we have Kendall and Lane, and they had some big wins as well, healthier eating habits, more quality time together, stronger bond. They said, love this program, all the tools given to make this a successful outcome in all areas of fitness and relationship building. There's no other program like this out there on the market, and we love sharing this. And we love to hear it, and we really appreciate you guys for saying that. And so if you'd like to achieve results like these SOS couples, you can just go to www.strengthofseduction.com/apply. You know, that's if you're ready to see how much better your life and relationship can be. All you got to do is schedule that free coaching session, and you'll be able to hear some really good breakdowns of where you can improve and how we can support you with that. Now, one thing I want to talk about is habits, okay? Here's the thing. Old habits are really hard to change. I mean, give me some feedback. In fact, raise your hand if you have some old habits right now that you are trying to break. We all have them. And you may think that you learned some cool stuff on the training, you know? You think that you're going to go back and you're going to apply all this stuff. But I mean, come on, let's be honest. You're probably just going to fall back into your old habits. And we all do it, right? And I'm in no way saying that I'm exempt from this stuff. A huge part of the reason I'm even doing this presentation tonight is because the 5 shifts are all things that my wife and I have personally struggled with. It's just part of life. And what I've realized is that in that process, the only way to start changing results in your life and in your relationship is to be intentional about it and to get support. And so if you're ready to break your old habits and to get some support, then I encourage you to apply for a free coaching session. You can go to www.strengthofseduction.com/apply. I put a note up in the chat, which I think you should be able to get to, and you can just look on the screen. It's easy to get to. I'll be able to answer some of your Q&As in just a second as well, but I just want to share with you that, the crazy thing about it is that even if you just took the 5 shifts that we talked about tonight and, you just implemented those, you'd basically have the formula for success. But it doesn't really matter because information's not enough. It's not enough just to know something. You have to actually be able to apply it. I mean, think about it. You bought one of our workout programs, right? That's the reason why you're watching this. But how many times have you actually used it? And the real thing is you need support. You need accountability. You need coaching to really see results. And that's why we're opening up a small number of free coaching sessions to help you accomplish your goals. So if you'd like to get some support, please, you can just apply for a free coaching session now while we still have seats available. This is obviously a small group of people that we're opening up to and offering them. And you'll see there's only a few days of available coaching spots. So you want to make sure you take advantage of this now. And what I'll do is I'll walk you through the calendar process here. It's very simple. So if you go to strengthofseduction.com/apply, I'll just take this here. I'll just copy and paste it. And I'll show you exactly what it will look like. So you go to strengthofseduction.com/apply. You'll fill out your information in this box. And then from there, you'll be taken to a calendar. As long as you qualify here, you'll be taken to a calendar. And from there, you'll be able to book your call. Now, I wanted to make this something worth remembering. And I wanted to have just a quick message to the guys out there watching this, because I know there are guys on here watching this right now. The majority of people who purchase our programs are women, but there's actually a strong and powerful part of our audience that's men. And I respect you guys. And I want to say for the men watching this, I want you to see this as an opportunity to step up and take leadership in your relationship. One of the biggest reasons relationships fall is because we fail to lead. But sometimes even leaders need support. I mean, can't you agree? There's a great saying I heard one time. It said, all leaders walk with a limp. Tell me, guys watching this right now, and even ladies, doesn't that resonate with you? Let me tell you something, okay? Getting support to improve your life and relationship is a tremendous act of leadership. And that's the key. Sometimes to become a better leader, you need support. And that's how you do it. So if you're ready to step up in that way, you can go to strengthofseduction.com/apply, and you can apply for that free coaching session. And by the way, ladies, I haven't forgotten you. Let me say this message to you. Set your man up for success, okay? For the women watching this, this is an opportunity to set your relationship up for success. One of the biggest reasons relationships fail is because women expect their men to understand communication the same way that they do. Can you just give me some show of hands, a thumbs up, a high five, raising your hand, putting some chat in the Q&A box if this is resonant to you, if that makes sense to you. Now, I'm sure, as you know, our brains in a lot of ways are very different. And getting some structured support around improving your life and relationship is something that the male brain can understand and succeed at. And you will be the primary beneficiary of that success. So it's a win-win. Trust us, he'll be happy that you called. So if you're ready to step up in that way, you can go to www.strengthofseduction.com/apply. We'd love to hear from you. Now, just to be clear, what are you going to get on that call? Well, it's going to be a quick and easy Google Meet. Very simple. It's a video call. So you want to be in a quiet location where you can take in all the information and fully talk to our coach. Her name is Rudy. And it's going to be 20 to 30 minutes really learning about you, understanding the biggest roadblocks you'd like to solve in your life and relationship. And if it's a good fit, we'll share how we might be able to help. And after that phone call, we're going to send you a free gift valued at over $100 just as a thank you. So it's really it's a win-win. And a lot of people want to know, do both partners not need to be on the call for the coaching session? And the answer to that is, well, look, we love it when both partners can be there. We absolutely love it, but it's not required. And whoever's on the call will just be the leader, but both will benefit. And so my challenge to you would be to be intentional. Be intentional about your relationship. It is that living organism. And if you don't make time for the health of your relationship voluntarily, you'll be forced to take time for its sickness. And there's no way around that. So you can go to strengthofseduction.com/apply and just connect with a coach who can help you. And if you've been wanting to make some positive changes in your life, in your relationship, and for a long time now, but you haven't done it, you haven't pulled the trigger, now is your opportunity to get some one-on-one support to accomplish your goals. And these 5 shifts that we named today are just the starting point of what will be a tremendous improvement, because the quality of your life and the quality of your marriage are directly related. Can we all agree on that? And when both of those things improve at the same time, well, that's exponential. Now, I'm just reading through the chat here. I'm seeing some great responses here. Gina says she has a poster board already. Just need to put it to use for the shared vision board. So that's it, guys. If you have any more questions, you can email me at daniel@strengthofseduction.com. And to all the people who apply for our free coaching session, we welcome you, and we tip our hats to you because you're making an incredible step in the right direction to improving your life and everyone around you. Thank you for taking your time tonight, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.